here, and we're gonna go over the Pegasus, the Eagle One, and the Eagle One Pro, all from Varla back here. We just went on a little ride. Ron has been on the Pegasus mostly, and somewhat the Eagle One, right? Mm-hmm. And now today, finally, the Eagle One Pro.
First time on the Pro.
Yeah, right. Jeff, you've been on the Eagle One for a while.
Right.
But today's your first time with the Pegasus and the Pro.
Yeah.
So, and I've been on all three. So we're gonna kind of go over some of the things that we like and maybe don't like, okay? So I'm gonna start off with the Pegasus, and we're gonna go over some quick specs on that. 3, 2, 1. The Pegasus comes with dual hub motors at 500 watts each, with 800 watts of peak power and 25 Newton meters of torque. Has a high speed of 28 miles per hour, although I did kind of get about 25 miles per hour as the power went down, and I was able to sustain 25 miles per hour, a lot more than I could the 28. But still, a lot of power, plenty fast. Has solid fat tire, airless tires, which I really appreciate. They feel like they have air in them, but they don't. It has dual disc brakes, and look at those beautiful suspension arms, which brings us to the dual spring suspension. It has a front spring and a rear spring. Now the rear spring looks adjustable, but I haven't made any adjustments because I'm happy with it the way it rides right out of the box. The Pegasus comes equipped with a 48 volt 15.6 lithium-ion battery with a charge time of about 7 to 8 hours. Now Varla claims that you should get about 28 miles per charge. For me, it's going to be less. I am going to really use that power assist level all the way up. I'm going to use both motors all the time. I'm probably going to be speeding around. So, but if you're a little bit more on the other side where you're not using it maximum throttle all the time, maybe switching between one motor and two motors, not going uphill all the time, you might get up to the 28. I think for myself, I'll probably get about 20 miles per hour, 20 miles per charge, maybe 25 at the most, but that would be a good day for me. And finally, we get to the deck pad, which is made of silicone for a good grip. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over some likes and dislikes on the Pegasus. Originally on the Pegasus, I thought that those airless tires, I thought that was the way to go. I thought all of them should come that way, because who wants to get a flat when you're out riding around and you know the things are heavy, you know? So even if you can fold it, it's not like you're gonna fold it and carry it a mile away, right? So, but now that I've been on the Eagle One and the Eagle One Pro, those both have air in the tires, pneumatic tires, and they feel great. The Eagle One felt really good. The Eagle One Pro, I thought the tires were really good because they're wider, and I just thought those felt really great. The Pegasus, now I find to be kind of rocky, and I've got flat feet, really flat feet, and by the time I'm done riding it, my feet can kind of hurt. So yeah, but I'm not so happy about the Pegasus with the hard airless tires. Now they do make a new Pegasus that does have air in the tires, but I don't have that one. So Varla, if you're listening, send me that. So anyway, what did you guys think about the Pegasus tires? Let's start with the tires.
You can definitely feel a noticeable change between the solids and the air tires, especially going over the bumps, and any kind of bump you feel every little bump.
Right.
But I guess that's your trade-off. You know, you're not worried about ever getting a flat, but it is a little bit more rough on the feet.
I think because of how rough how solid they are, I think they're good for like really city street riding, A to B, nothing too rough.
Right.
You know? I know you were mentioning because Ron actually took it off-road a little bit.
I did. I went right across open ground in the hills, gopher holes and bumps and soft sand, and I couldn't believe it. The thing kept going. It kept going.
But one thing I could relate to is you mentioned that at one point it was so rocky that your head's going like this that you almost couldn't see.
Eyeballs are shaking around in your head.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider if you're gonna want to go off-road at all. The Pegasus might not be for you, but otherwise it's really great. One of the other things that I noticed about the Pegasus right away when we started riding them, is the steering dampening. It's got this, yeah.
Love it.
It's tight.
Yeah.
It really helps when you at high speeds, right? It helps you stay in control.
Yeah.
So, scooters that you've ridden in the past, did they have, besides, not talking about the Eagle One, but anything else you've ridden, did they have any dampening in the steering?
The Segways had a little bit of it.
Yeah.
To where it wasn't, the first one I got, the Xiaomi's, those were stiff as a board.
Okay.
And every little turn you could feel there was no smooth motion. But with the Segways, it started to get a little bit more, you get a little bit more control with it. And the same thing with the Pegasus is that when you're going at roughly high speeds, you're able to still kind of cut the road a little bit and not feel kind of just stuck on the straight and narrow.
But it feels secure.
It does feel very secure, yeah.
And I know that even though that's the baby of the line, I feel like it has all the speed I need. I mean, I rarely ever top it out.
Right, I gotta admit, when I stay like within the neighborhood and I just want to go for a quick ride up and down the street, it's the go-to one for me.
Yeah, and then if you see a bump coming up, I'll just lift a little on the handlebars, ease over it.
Well, it's a little easy to pop it up.
Yeah. It's definitely I would call it like a beginner scooter. It's definitely like a neighborhood cruiser. You know,
it's a neighborhood cruiser
for
sure.
Right at dusk when it's nice and cool, you take it out just for a little ride around the neighborhood.
Right.
Smooth ride, I think. And I even said it while I was riding. I'm like, you can definitely tell how smooth the transition is from going from dead stop to getting up to speed, and it's very smooth.
Dude, I think for most people, that's probably all the scooter they'll ever need.
Right, I agree.
Ready, Ron?
I am. So that one has no air in the tires.
Oh, these are solid tires?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you feel everything.
Yeah, definitely.
On those rocks, I was like, okay.
Yeah, when I was riding that one, it was like going through like butter.
Oh, I know.
Oh, this one's nice and smooth. This one kind of has like that, like the Segway feel. The 9-bot. Not too much torque, but it does have a nice get up and go here. I can feel it. It wants to go. Oh, there it is.
This is like a Cadillac, man. It's like so smooth and so comfy. You want to go around the block?
Yeah. So I've noticed this thing has a lot less torque in it than those do, but it reminds me of like one of the Segway ones where you kind of, it gets up when it gets up where it needs to go.
It gets moving, yeah. But now which mode? You're only in mode 1.
Yeah, I hit 3 on the way back there.
Yeah, I just leave it in 3 on that one.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let me go. Ready?
Oh, yeah, steering's really nice on this. Getting up to about 23 miles an hour right now, almost 24. Feeling smooth. Going over a few bumps, nothing crazy.
Now, as far as the upgrades go on these scooters, a lot of times you don't really upgrade them much, but on the Pegasus, the handlebar, you know, one thing I would like to upgrade on all 3 of these would probably be the handlebars eventually, and change the stem. You can't really change the stem on the Pegasus, but you can on the other 2. So, and that brings up another point. I talked with Varla a little bit about it, and they said if you change anything on the scooters, that you're voiding the warranty. And you know, they're not going to help you if anything happens. So I did change something on the Eagle One. I changed the clamp at the bottom because I felt the clamp for the down pole to be able to fold, that clamp was a little too thin and a little too low. So I went with a much thicker one and taller one, and it does feel more secure.
Yeah.
But so upgrade wise, I was a little disappointed in seeing that the only thing I might be able to change is the handlebar on this. But it's not that big of a deal because overall, the way the scooter comes out of the box, it's fine. If you don't change it, it's fine.
Well, I feel that the wider handlebars are more stable, but then you lose the foldability.
Right. And out of the 3, the only one I would ever really fold would be the Pegasus.
Yeah.
The other 2, I wouldn't really fold.
Yeah, I don't see carrying them around in the trunk of your car.
Do you think that it would be a good idea to suggest that, I mean, we live in an era right now where scooters and e-bikes are kind of like the norm right now.
Yeah.
And we all know what we're expecting. Wouldn't you feel that a company would allow you to customize your own scooter to your personal preferences?
It would be nice, especially if on their site they could add like options.
Yeah.
Where you could, with some good name stuff, maybe have some contracts with some other companies so that they could add.
People are always going to modify stuff.
Right.
And that's the thing too, is that, you know, when you buy these scooters, they come out of the box, you know, pretty stock, and you know, you always have to buy aftermarket stuff like cell phone holders, flashlights, camera mounts, stuff like that. So you think that maybe they would offer some kind of like a customizable scooter.
Well, and one of the good things with Varla is that they asked me with each video that I did to make any recommendations I had and say anything I didn't like because they wanted to know.
Right.
So that was good. That was a plus, that they want to listen to the goods and bads and suggestions. So if you guys have any, throw them out there. So.
Well, I love the brakes. I love the color displays.
You know, that's a good point. The brakes on the Pegasus, I believe, are mechanical. And I always love hydraulic.
Right.
But for the...
Don't miss it.
I don't miss it on the Pegasus. The mechanical is just fine. So, okay, well, we're going to move over to the Eagle One now, okay? And I'm going to go over some quick specs on that one right now. 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the Varla Eagle One. Both the front and rear tires are 10x3 with inner tubes. I'm going to swap them out for a better off-road experience with knobbier tires. That clamp I'm also going to swap out for a taller clamp for better grip. Okay, so shoving the down pull out of the way is our friendly handlebar, which has the grip, the bell, the brakes, the eco button, turbo button, single dual motor buttons, the ignition switch, the voltage meter, and the display. Here we're taking a look at the Zoom hydraulic disc brake along with the front red suspension arm. Now we're taking a look at one of the two springs as part of the dual suspension system on the Varla Eagle One. To drive the 2,000 watt dual hub motors, it comes with a 52 volt 18.2 amp hour lithium battery. Now the reason there's two ports on there is that it comes with one charger, but you can buy a second charger. Now, charging time depends on how many chargers you're using. If you're using a single charge, then it's going to take 8 to 9 hours. And if you have two chargers, you're going to cut that in half to 4 to 5 hours. So here's a shot of the front of the scooter with the lights on. And I'm going to also show you a rear shot with the lights on that are in red. It looks great. Even during the day, you can see them. But I'm going to post another picture in a minute that's going to show you the scooter at night with both lights on, so stick around for that. So here's a visual for the display and voltage meter, both at day and night. And here we go with the day and night shot of the Varla Eagle One. Okay. All right, so let's now talk about the Eagle One. You've already had experience on it. You've gotten a little bit on it. Me, I gotta admit, I didn't think I needed the extra speed, but I love the extra speed. The extra speed is torquier. I was scared the first time I got on it. It took me a little while to work myself up to turbo mode and mode 3, full power. The torque kind of scared me because it pulled me back every time. So I've learned to kind of lean forward. But that's something you should watch for if you're riding first time riding it. It is very torquey. So what do you guys think about all that power on that scooter? The Eagle One.
So I gotta tell you, when I first, because I was, like I said, I was used to the Segways and all that, where they don't have torque. Yeah. I mean, it has a little bit, you know, especially for a bigger guy like me. You need that torque to get up and go. And the Pegasus, that's why I recommended it's like a beginner one, because it has a slow start, but you can really get up to speed, but it doesn't have that jump that
comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable. But you move to the Eagle One, and right off the gate, you're shooting out of there. You kind of have to feather the throttle a little bit, otherwise you're back and forth. But once you get that feel, that zone, you find the zone, you're cruising on that thing.
Right.
So I do notice that, it does have a lot more torque, and even when you brake, you have to like move with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, being a motorcycle rider and growing up riding dirt bikes, I cannot have enough torque. So I love it. Yeah, if I could rooster tail that thing in the dirt, more the better.
Right, right.
And the one thing I've noticed too is that this is what it's built for. It's built to be jumped off the line.
Aggressive riding, yeah.
So it is a little bit of a shock to you at first, but once you get the feel for it, you kind of accept the fact that this is why they made it. This is why they made it so torquey, is that it's supposed to be that way. So you kind of just embrace it and just say, let's do this. You know, I'm on board.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just throw caution to the wind and just gun it.
Okay, so another thing that I've noticed about the Eagle One that to me is a little bit of a disappointment though, is there's no steering dampening. It's loose.
Right.
You know, so it's good for cutting around and stuff, I guess, but for me, at high speed, it might get a little wobbly, a little bit.
That's one thing I think they could improve on. Add
Right.
some dampening to that steering.
Right, because the Pegasus has it.
Yeah, and especially with the narrow little tires. And,
You're right.
but then again, I love the air tires.
Yeah. Now, I mean, out of the box, without the dampening, still great. I enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun with it. Up until I got the Eagle One Pro, I was riding it a lot. I didn't really think too much about the dampening that much, but I have to mention it. Yeah, it is a little bit loose feeling.
It is, and
Yeah.
you know, especially when they're able to reach these top speeds, it's like, you know, you want to feel in control
Yeah.
of the scooter while it's reaching the top speed, because otherwise there's no point in reaching top speed
Yeah.
if you feel out of control.
Right.
So the dampening on this is, yeah, very, very,
Loose.
very loose. But you know, if you're topping out around 24, 25, maybe 30 tops, it is a smooth, comfortable ride.
Yeah.
You're still able to cut, but as soon as you pass that threshold, you start getting a little bit of speed wobbles. You start
Yeah.
getting a little bit
Yeah.
nervous. You know.
Yeah. If you get too much wobble, it's not going to go away. It's going
Yeah.
to take you down.
Right.
So if you start to feel it, you need to back off.
Yeah.
Yeah. The down pole out of the three, I also noticed it seems to be the worst of all three.
Yeah.
The Pegasus, look how thick that pole is.
Yeah, yeah, it's solid.
And look how thin the Eagle One is. And then when you get to the Eagle One Pro, it's got that triangular shape. It's really very solid. So I think they could improve the pole on the Eagle One, including the clamping system. Like I said, I changed it to a thicker one. I just think they could overall do a better job with it. They did a great job on the Eagle One Pro, and the Pegasus, it works great just as it is too.
So I remember about a year ago when all the scooters were coming out, and they were all pretty cheap, and then this Varla showed up, and it was like, oh my God,
Right.
this is what we want.
Right.
And I'm sure it's going through a few growing pains as they develop it. But yeah.
And then when I was mentioning the clamp to you earlier on my old Xiaomi one, you go over a few bumps, and I had the airless tires on it, so you hit a lot of bumps, and those screws start to come loose.
Oh, not good.
And before you know it, I feel a rattling while I was riding, and I gave it like a little kick to kind of knock that clamp back on, and the whole thing just buckled and collapsed, and
You ate it?
raspberries all over, man.
Oh man, that must have hurt.
It was terrible. But that was one of the things I noticed with other models, is that if the thing is going to collapse to store and to move and to all that, you better make sure that when it's fully extended and ready to ride, that it's not going to come loose. It's almost like it needs to be fixed. And some of the Segways do have them where they are fixed, but it's a little bit hard to transport them when they're fixed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was saying, if you have the clamp on there, it should be, you know, rattle proof, almost rattle proof, and it can't loosen.
A lot of testing on that one to get it right.
Yeah.
You know. One of the other things about the Eagle One that, again, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the scooter, but I do have some issues with it. The mode control, 1, 2, and 3. The other two, you can go from 1 to 2 back down to 1. But on the Eagle One, you have to go 1, 2, 3, 1. You can't go like, you know, from 2 back down to 1.
Right.
Because it's a one button thing.
Yeah, it's just 1 up, 1 up, 1 up, back down. You know, so I would like it if it was a little bit better than that. So that kind of bugs me.
Seems like an easy change, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of controllers out there. They could put a different one on there too. The other thing is, what do we have? We have on here, we have a thumb controller for the Pegasus. We have the kind of brake control type for the Eagle One, and then a thumb again for the Pro.
Right.
And you know, I've gotten used to it either. Oh, I just looked back and I saw the fender. That fender rattles, and I've seen people complain about that online. I don't know if there's actually a fix for it other than to just remove it, maybe put another aftermarket one on, or just leave it off completely, which is what I'm thinking about doing. That rattle, it gets on my nerves after a while. Yeah. So, does yours rattle?
No.
So maybe I just need to replace it.
Or tighten the screws, because we never got them all the way in.
Yeah, maybe just retighten them or something like that. So,
last thing I have on the Eagle One is that I did notice a definite change in absorption, especially going around corners, tight corners, and going over bumps. Is that it kind of like moves with you? You know, it's not fighting you. So it's got a little bit more absorption in the suspension. So, you know, it's not like if you get nervous going over a bump, you know, it's like, oh, what's that? You know, it kind of cushions everything. Well,
I don't know if it feels any different than the one you've been riding on, but I didn't tell you this. Me and my buddy Urel, we tightened the springs on that one a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. But I don't know if it's enough that you could notice or not between the two. The one that you have and this one.
Oh, I definitely noticed the difference.
You did?
Oh, definitely. That's why I had to mention it, because it had...
Did you like it better this way, or
I do. It does feel a little... Because the one I have right now, he hasn't really done much to it, so it is... He did a little bit of stuff to it, but it still has... Yours seems a little bit more dialed in.
Okay, right. So right now, my buddy is borrowing my tools. I will send you a link to the tool that I use, because it wasn't easy to find. Okay. I'll send you a link to it so that you can get it. And I'll put a link below in case anybody wants to tighten their suspension up also on the Eagle One. Okay?
So yeah, don't be afraid to make it your own, you know.
Right.
Tune it to your feel, because otherwise it feels like you're writing something for it.
Right.
You know?
Right. So you got nothing else on the Eagle One. So we're going to move over to the Eagle One Pro, and we'll go over some specs on that now. Let's take a good look at that Varla Eagle One Pro. It's just a gorgeous piece of engineering to me. I think it just looks great. So on the Eagle One Pro, the deck has a silicone surface on the top. It works great. Shoes stick to it really well. It's not changeable as far as I can tell. I might be wrong on that, but it works. It does the job, and it handles perfectly. So the brakes, I cannot find a name on them anywhere, but they are hydraulic brakes, and on the site it says that it has ABS. I can say that they do work well. You do have to be a little careful. At lower speeds, you have to squeeze the brakes in a little tighter than when you are going fast. When you're going fast, you don't want to squeeze them too tight, because it will, I mean, it seems to brake really well at high speeds, but just be careful with that. There is an adjustment in the settings area, but I've just left mine at the default setting. The Eagle One Pro also has front and rear suspension. The springs, they're just right. I don't feel the need to make any changes. Of course, that's just me, but I think they're perfect as is. It comes with 11-inch pneumatic air tires, and I used to think airless tires was the way to go, but now that I've been riding on 2 scooters that have air in the tires, I can tell you it's way more comfortable. I wanted to put a warning here because I know some people may be sensitive to lights, and I'm going to show some day shots and night shots with the lights off and on the scooter, and I just wanted to give people a warning in case they were light sensitive. All right, so we're back and we're going to talk about the Eagle One Pro, the last scooter that Varla sent to me to record or to review. Still hoping they'll send me the new Pegasus. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, on the Eagle One Pro, that's the fastest one at 45 miles per hour. It's got the largest tires. I like the hydraulic brakes on it. The down pull is one of the things I really like to put emphasis on because it's so strong and sturdy. And I don't know if the steering has dampening on it, but it feels nice and tight so that it doesn't get wobbly at all at any speed that I ride it. So, and that one was the most fun for me to take off-road. I liked it. So I don't know if you guys can tell differences. I think you mentioned it a little bit with the poles on the other two scooters, but it makes a big difference, that shape and that locking system that it has.
Yeah, there's definitely many differences between the both of them. They both have their own specific style in which, I mean, it's almost as if you kind of want to have a blend of both of them, because the Eagle One Pro, like you said, reaching top speeds and you're not losing control. You're not, because I was out there hitting 40 miles an hour, and the second time around I was hitting 40, and it felt way smoother because, like I said, you get nervous the first time going.
Right.
But once you do it, you feel that stiffness in it to where it's not going all over the place.
Right.
Where the Eagle One does that. But also, you're not able to, like I said before, cut the road as much as you want. So this is kind of like a straight shot.
Yeah.
Like go fast, get to where you need to go, kind of a thing. Whereas the Eagle One is more of like a cruiser. You're going around cutting through roads and stuff like that. And the wider, you can definitely notice the difference between the wider and the thinner tires.
Yeah, I notice like on the streets when I need to make a U-turn at the end of the block or something, it's a little easier with the Eagle One than it is the Pro. Because the Pro being a little stiffer. I appreciate the Pro though, just for safety wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might want to slow down a little bit more on a sharp turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I can say the difference between the Eagle One and the Eagle One Pro is the stopping. You can definitely tell when you're stopping on the Eagle One because it has that slight jerk forward where the Eagle One has it, but not as significant. So I feel that the Eagle One Pro has a little bit more of like a steadiness to it.
Gradual stop.
Yeah. Where when you're stopping on the Eagle One, the whole thing is going back and forth.
And they're both hydraulic brakes.
Yeah.
So, but they're tuned a little different, I guess.
Yeah. Could it be an adjustment thing, or is it?
Maybe. It's something you can look into. Maybe.
Now we're getting up there. Woo! 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Let me see if I can hit 33. We big guys, we don't have the luxury of moving that fast. So these scooters really make us feel like we're floating. Okay, we're at 30, 33, 32, 34, 35, 36, 37. Come on, baby, 38. That's what I'm talking about, 39, 40. Even at 40 miles an hour, I still feel complete control. And you gotta be cruising. Oh yeah, 35.
That's a smooth little medium right there. Got a car behind me. I'm probably gonna beat him out. Oh yeah, I'm smoking him. Ah. I just got hit in the face with a bug. No big deal. I got hit in the forehead with a bug. I was going so fast.
What happened?
A bug hit me in the forehead.
Oh, yeah.
I know that when I got on that Pro, it was like riding my Harley Davidson. It felt like I was on a motorcycle.
Yeah, you haven't had a lot of experience on the Pro yet, but you rode it today.
First time today, and it blew me away because it's so stable, it's so soft and smooth. You don't feel anything.
Yeah.
And when I kicked that dual motor in, wow.
Turbo on. Whoa. Woo. Yeah, man. That was fun.
Which, by the way, it always starts on dual motors.
Right.
Which I recommend if you're first riding it, if it's your first time riding it, turn that off. And then when you get some speed going, maybe turn it back on at a nice spot where you're not accelerating. But
I was probably around 20 miles an hour when I kicked it in.
Now I just jump on. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I know the feel of it. But when you first start, it might be a good safety thing.
Yeah, that's the one thing when my brother purchased his is that he put it in dual motor mode right off the bat. Yeah. And he compared it. He said, here's single, go ahead and go for it. And he's like, all right, here's dual, and go for it right off the line. And it scared the crap out of me. Yeah. Because you're not ready for it. But if, like you said, if you gradually ease into it, saying, you're in single, and then while you're going, switching into turbo, dual motor mode, and it shoots off like a bullet.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, every time you're ready to take off, it's good to lean forward because it's going to pull you back a little bit. Yeah. And if you're already back like this and you don't have a good grip, you might just, fly off.
I love it on the street. I can't wait to try it in the dirt. Yeah. I want to try it.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that real quick. I took all three off-road. Well, actually, mostly the Eagle One and Eagle One Pro. Really didn't do just a little bit with the Pegasus because it's not really made the same as the other two. It can do it, but it can't keep up with the Eagle One and the Eagle One Pro. 27 miles compared to 40 and 45. Can't do it. But so the Eagle One and the Eagle One Pro, those went off-road, and the skinnier tires on the Eagle One with the different suspension, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit less as tight, I guess. Compared to the Eagle One Pro, the Eagle One Pro with the wider tires, the better suspension, it felt so good going off-road with it. Now, it's probably better made for street riding, all three of them. But knowing that you can go off-road and have fun, it's great. And the thing is I didn't get any flat tires on any of them. Have you ever experienced a flat tire yet?
Not on the Varlas, no.
No? Because I've seen some reviews where people have commented that they got flats as soon as they went out. Haven't gotten a flat, and we've taken this off-road pretty hard. Yeah, and
got a new set of tires on standby. But
yeah, I bought tires because I thought I was going to have to put them on, but haven't had to put them on yet. And like I said, the tires that it comes with are not knobby on the Eagle One Pro or the Eagle One, but the Eagle One Pro are wider, and they feel great. You went over some bumps today. We had to do a little off-road to get here, a little bit. And you thought it was pretty good, right?
It was very good.
You were on the Pro.
I was on the Pro, yeah. And you can definitely tell the difference with the wider tires, going through the rocks especially, is that it's like going through butter. It's very smooth. There's no, like, your feet don't hurt. You're kind of just riding it as you're going.
Big rocks.
They were big rocks. Yeah, they were big rocks.
It wasn't like gravel.
No. Yeah, these are pretty substantial rocks.
Yeah.
And going through them, it kind of makes me eager to go on a dirt track now because if it can handle something like that, smooth, I can't even imagine what it would be like off-roading it with the thing.
Right. I'm gonna toss some footage up, some off-roading that me and my other friend did. Not doing that one. But I definitely would like to get you guys out there one day because I think you need to experience it. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, maybe these are made a little more geared towards the street, but they handled the off-road just fine. And it was very exciting. It was a lot of fun. It handled rocks, gravel. We were in some sand areas where once in a while, if you accelerated, you could feel it kind of spin a little bit on there because it's kind of loose, where maybe the knob of your tires would have been a little bit better, but it was still fine. And we did get pretty good speeds out there, but most of the time it wasn't about going top speed. It was just climbing over the rocks and coming back down.
And having the power to do it.
Right. And we did do some hops, so that was pretty cool too. And my friend, he did some really good hops. He did some just straight over. He banked on one. And I told him I wasn't going to try that bank one because that looked scary to me. But no flats, no problems, everything handled. You're going to have fun. We need to get you guys out there and do that.
Yeah. And I know that they're built for street, but they can also handle off-roading. But it seems as if you were able to kind of have best of both worlds. You're opening up a whole new world of opportunity for riders like us because you can go see newer things and not just look at the same old houses every now and then. You know,
you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah, you can go anywhere you want. So the option of going from street to off-road is, I think, a major plus for the.
We have already been in places in our own neighborhood that we never would have seen.
Right.
In our cars.
Yeah, we've seen things that we never would have seen.
Yeah, because some of these scooters can't even begin to start to handle these dirt tracks or rocky roads, so you never get to experience it. But now that we've tried these out, it kind of makes me eager to try these new tracks out.
So I gotta say, if I'm gonna line this up, my favorite or my least favorite to favorite, it's actually almost a tie for me between the Eagle One and the Pegasus, because the Pegasus is sort of my go-to around the neighborhood. But I love the speed and excitement I get out of the Eagle One.
Right.
But I feel maybe a slight bit safer on the Pegasus than the Eagle One. But then it takes me to the Eagle One Pro, where I feel really safe. It's the best of all three worlds.
Yeah.
It's really safe. It's really fast. It gets me anywhere I want to go. The tires are wide, which also feels really smooth. It helps to make it feel really good. It makes the road really comfortable. So, but everything about it, I can't really find fault with it. I like everything about it. Everything. The display's nice. There's the extra settings that you can do, the P settings, where you could change the speed and stuff on it. I like just everything about it.
We're lucky that we live in an area where there's every kind of terrain to ride, and we can ride right out of our front door. And if I was to take my scooter in my car or truck, the Pegasus is the go-to.
Yeah, it's the most portable.
Yeah.
Because even though the other two fold, they don't hook. The Eagle One, you can buy a hook so that you can hook it. I did have one, and I wasn't able to actually make it work right. I don't know, maybe if I took a little more time I could, but it's so heavy that it's not something I really want to haul around and carry around.
So as a commuter,
the Pegasus is really easy, and it's light enough to carry. So there's a lot of good things to say about the Pegasus. And if you want to just get from A to B, say you use it for work,
it's a quality built scooter, no doubt about it, and it's beautiful.
All three of them are. Yeah.
That's actually one thing I noticed coming over here, because I went to my brother's house, and the way he had me load it up was almost like loading up a motorcycle.
Right. Yeah. Strapping it down,
making sure that and then I've also noticed too that with some of other models of scooters, that when you break that down tube, the scooter is able to lock into something down below, so you're able to carry it like a briefcase kind of thing.
You can do that with the Pegasus.
Right.
The other two, you can buy an extra part for the Eagle One to do it, but you got to kind of make it fit. It doesn't fit right out of the box. And Eagle One Pro, I haven't seen anything to do that one.
Right.
So, I mean, you can fold it down and maybe makes it easier to store somewhere, not have the top hanging out, but to carry it, it doesn't have any reason.
So the Eagle One and the Eagle One Pro are definitely
more portable.
much well, they're also heavier than the Pegasus.
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a thing where you want to keep around the house, and if you go on like a camping trip or something with the family, you can load it up easily.
Yeah.
But with the Pegasus, you know, it's way easier to transport.
Yeah.
Especially for quick things here and there. But like it's almost like an Eagle One Pro. It's like a thing, like you're going to go out on the Eagle One, so you got to.
This is what we're doing today.
Prep yourself.
Whereas
for
the Pegasus is good. Like if you need to ride it to work, you can bring it in, stick it in a closet at work or whatever. You know.
I've actually put the not the Eagle. I put the Pegasus in my trunk before, and I've taken it with me before. The other two, I can't fit in my trunk, you know. So, but yeah, so you if you want to transport those, you're going to need like a truck or something like that. But I love all three. I hope Varla sends me the Pegasus, the new Pegasus, and so I can try it out. If there's changes, upgrades in it other than the tires, I don't know. If the tires are the only thing that's the upgrade, then it's probably not worth it, you know, to review. But if there's other changes on it, then I would like to try that out too. But on their site, the only thing I saw was the bigger tires. It could be more. So anything else you guys want to add about those three? My favorite is the Eagle One Pro, but I love all three. I do ride this one a lot. The Pegasus. The Eagle One, I take that out occasionally also, but my go-to for the street around the neighborhood is the Pegasus. The one for off-road and long distances is my Eagle One Pro. The Eagle One, it's fun. You know, like if I'm riding with somebody, we'll trade off. We'll ride different scooters. I'll hop on that one too. So it's good to have around because it can at least keep up with the Eagle One Pro. It may not be as fast, but it can keep up. Yeah. You guys?
I like them all. I like all three of them equally. They all have their purpose. They all are designed for a different use. Only thing I think we could do to improve it is to buy 3 more.
Get 3 more, yeah.
Yeah. So my thoughts on all three of them, and they're all well-made scooters, and I'm kind of 50-50 on the Eagle One and the Pro because they both offer specific things that if it's almost like if they made one that was kind of a blend of both of them, that would be the ultimate. Because there are certain things I love about the Eagle One, and there's certain things I love about the Eagle One Pro. Yeah. Where if you were to kind of merge some of those ideas, you'd have a really top of the line scooter. And as far as the Pegasus goes, that is a all around just good cruiser. Yeah. You know, it's nothing too crazy. It's just fun to be on.
I kind of like keeping that one around. I kind of like keeping that one around the Pegasus. Also for like if we have guests that aren't used to these, that's the one that I put them on. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's the safest one.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So if people aren't like people that are kind of entering the scooter world, you know, it's a great starter.
It's a
scooter
great place to start
for someone like that because they're not ready for that.
No.
Because if I didn't have any kind of scooter experience, that thing would scare me.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, the Pegasus I think is a great starter scooter for somebody and for beginners.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for today. I think we all like all three, so we'll just end it right there, and I'll see if I get a little bit more footage on here for people to look at. And
great job, Varla.
Yeah, great job, Varla. Yeah, keep sending scooters. We love them.